So I've got I just copy and pasted. However, there are a few things that I do have, like the video for the managing sets changes. So if we want to like watch that together, because there were some things I was like, oh, this might have real good potential, but I'm not sure yet. So the PO lines task list basically got the analytics object lists side by side UI treatment in this latest release. So there's now details pane. You can do the different facet selection in so creating, a filtered PO line list. There's new advanced search options. So if you use PO lines, it will be opt-in, of course, for a while. And then I think I read that in November, it will be the default, but of course, you'll be able to choose the old version for a little while. So yeah, I think this is really great and offers a good opportunity if you're not really using acquisitions to have a better experience learning acquisitions. So I'm excited to kind of dig into that. There were several updates listed for acquisitions. There's also quite a few improvements on the manage sets page. And what I clued in on was this last one, the creating itemized physical holdings sets. And it was enhanced so that there can be itemized and logical sets of physical holdings. And then it says this at the end, it says holdings that fulfill a condition at a specific point in time. So I'm wondering if we will be able to use like a previous point in time for running physical holdings reports, which would be very cool. The webinars for that new UI are not until November, but we'll take a look at it. We should be able to look at it in the sandbox as well, starting with the August sandbox update, which I think is like on Thursday, maybe 8s, 2s, 6s, even numbers are hard. It was sometime this week. In backside of user management, accrued fees now appear in the like user detail box. So you don't have to like scroll through to see their fee total. There's some changes. There's actually quite a few changes in the browse shelf listing and browse bib headings, views, and how they display and how you can search them. So I just put in this one because you can kind of see where the configuration is going to be. It's going to be under metadata editor, browse, search and browse, and then you can check it out under shelf listing. There's also the ability to change a configuration for bibliographic record retention, which I thought might be of interest, so that if you need to make sure that a record doesn't get deleted for some reason. I know a big one that had been in the idea exchange for a while was the ability to reverse undo a deletion of a bibliographic record field. And so Control-Shift-Z has been introduced to a few different areas. Another one that is a little bit, there's actually multiple there, a little bit specific, but I was excited about it because I frequently, when doing searches, kind of confused, do I want to do a physical item search or a physical title search? And now at least the library scope is a way that you can filter that search. And so you can search, yeah. Anyway, I was happy about that because I always do like the wrong one and then I can't filter the results the way I think I can. And it doesn't make sense to me that because of the scope, you would have totally different facets or missing facets. Those of us who were at eLuna kind of know that this was coming, and we've talked about it, I think, already in the meeting, but the overlap analysis that was introduced a couple years back now will include related physical titles now in those electronic overlap analysis reports. I doubt that they're like perfect, but at least it's something. You're not having to like create a set and then upload that set to the overlap analysis tool to create the comparison. So now, okay, what was this one? This is, oh yeah, okay, so this was the detail on that. There we go. So you can do the lookup title or compare collections, but then you can also use these columns, and you've got physical holdings and whether it's matching and the number. So it's kind of nice. You can, another big thing with like sets and collections is assigning titles to collections automatically based on a logical query instead of having to do that manually. So if you want to add a new collection, you can do it based on a logical query. So that's great. This one was good, especially paired with the new UI for letters. There is now a test email button. So you can go into configuration and turn on this option so that you can test what the email will look like from whatever. Like I really had an example in my head when I got excited about this enhancement, and now I can't remember what it was. I also got very excited about this one on the code tables enhancement. These all go live August 6th. And so we'll be able to drag and drop to reorganize the giant code tables and put the one we actually, like look at more frequently toward the top. You can also change the column width. So we've quite a few things on code tables kind of improved. So that's nice. This new and improved letters configuration interface. I think this could easily be a whole meeting on its own. I will definitely plan to attend the August 9th webinar on this new UI. It's getting, again, that side-by-side treatment. So you'll have the XML and the preview side by side, and it will have error highlighting. So like as you change it, you will see what it looks like, and it will, put in the little alert of like, this isn't working. So that's super cool. And also they're going to have a save draft feature. So very helpful if you're working on some letters updating. eLuna attendees, I know this was kind of talked about. So for the local parameters in analytics reports, you can choose what those are, but previously you had to like know what you had put in as that configuration. And now there'll be a little prefix before that local parameter in the analytics menu so that you know which one you're adding to your report if you've customized those. So that's great. I talked to somebody about this the other day and I can't remember who. The previous functionality of the calendar API, it used to be that we were just happy because they finally figured out how to retrieve the Alma calendar into LibGuides or a like different calendar thing online. So you only had to set it up in Alma. Well, everyone's like, yes, but Alma's the hard one to set up. Like most of us prefer setting it up in LibGuides, and we want to be able to then put it back into Alma. So it now that calendar API supports create, update, and delete. So that's very cool. So if you're interested in exploring that, let me know, and I can get into libcal and play around with it a little bit and see how it works. I'll work with Yakima, or I'll work with Whitworth or somebody who still has given me access to all their LibGuides and has libcal. So there's a few little fixes. This one I thought you guys would be happy to hear about. The every block that is added to a user is now automatically and immediately added to the user's history, and you don't have to select save. So that's good. And then the other little one with letters is the name of the loan circulation desk has been added to several of the overdue and lost letters. So if you have a circ desk for laptops, or you're setting one up, and you have a circ desk for other materials, or you have multiple locations, now you can include the loan circulation desk if that is relevant to getting that overdue or lost item back. So that's great. There were just a few things in Primo. Of course, it's their semi-annual premium sandbox refresh for Alma. So Primo doesn't get a whole ton, although there is some cool stuff with CDI and document attributes, as well as different resource types. So some of this will require some configuration to turn on, but with this document attributes, one of the things that you'll have the ability to now show in the brief results is whether or not the article is retracted. Or if it's a retraction letter. So that's really great. They have not yet gotten the withdrawn article warning live, but they're working toward that as well. So we will probably take a look at this briefly in our Primo customization meeting today. There'll also be 3 new resource types: the magazine article, and questionnaire. So these are for popular magazines. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. The resource types, in order for them, I read the whole thing. I think you can activate these new resource types as like all of them. You can't choose like, oh, I want this one, not this one, but you can activate all of them. But then if you don't want to show those as search facet options, like if you don't feel like questionnaire is working correctly or magazine article is working correctly, you can leave them activated, so that you can still use magazine as a facet, but you can deactivate individual facets. So they'll get tagged as magazine article, but users won't be able to filter their results based on that. So that's interesting. And then if you have My Library Card enabled, users will be able to see different library notices and choose whether or not to receive them. So we might want to look and see if that is an automatic one, or if you'll need to configure it to show up. I can't remember, Amy, if the resource types are going to show up automatically. I'm pretty sure not. I think it says that you have to go in and turn them on as an additional resource type, and then see like your stuff gets re-indexed and then it'll pop up. But I can, we'll talk about it in the meeting this afternoon, and then those notes will be available later. So yeah, and we've got about 2 weeks until this one is live. So if there's something that that we're particularly interested in how it'll function, we can take a look at that. So some fairly big improvements, I think, especially with these the new UI stuff. It's just unfortunate that, like some of the how to use these new improvements is not coming for a couple of months. But we should by November have all 3 sandboxes updated, so that these improvements roll out to sandboxes. Everybody has their sandbox access, and we can test things out before they become the default. I did go ahead and oh, it's going to show an ad.
Stop wasting your time copy pasting data into documents.
So the new managed sets
automatic
layout has the video. So if you do want to watch it, here it is. It was only a couple minutes long. I'm excited to try it out, just because in our norm rules group we were managing sets, and like it is a lot of steps to manage and filter and da. So anyway, so that's exciting. But yeah, so this is the August release notes for Alma and Primo, and I am excited about a lot of these. So we'll see how they affect your work. More than happy to investigate specific concerns or questions in the next week, and then demo anything you have a question about at next week's meeting. All right, so then if there's nothing on that, this afternoon, Primo customization we might chat a little bit about these updates, like I said, and then we will be looking at Hispanic serving institutes in institutions to see if any of the Alma Primo schools have a Spanish interface, and maybe, you know, reaching out so that we can build our own Spanish language discovery interface. So very excited about that. We might just do like a divide and conquer on searching all these different things. It'd be really nice if there was, they just did, if like, why can't you just put this in an Excel sheet? And then why can't I just find an Excel sheet of Alma schools and then run a comparative analysis? Like, I don't want to copy and paste or click 16 million times. And of course, all of these are not even their library links, so it's additional. We'll probably start with West Coast just because that it is most likely that we'll have, you know, a good chance of finding a Spanish interface in Southern California or Texas. So we'll see. But yeah, that's besides just trying to catch up. I may also throw a pitch out to oh yeah, let's see if no, hold on, Lori, I'll get you the link. I may throw out a little note to the library directors listserv about the Ex Libris SFTP service. We've got Peninsula we're having a conversation today, so that'll be great to get their that IT perspective on what their concerns might be over moving the SFTP from an on-prem server to the Ex Libris one, and then I can put together perhaps a more compelling little talking point for library directors who would like to take advantage of that service and take something off of IT's plate. So looking forward to that. That'll give us, you know, more details for the 50% or so of you who are using on-prem servers still. And yeah. Anything come up in the last week or so for anyone that you'd like to get group wisdom on?
I do have something. I see Victoria's not here and she was the one that sort of started the discussion on this, but those annoying, unnecessary user notes that say something like profile, blah, blah, blah. Has anybody been able to find a job and or find how to get rid of all of those?
Oh, I filed a case earlier this week because I was like,
you're annoyed too? Okay.
yeah. I had a patron record yesterday with 1,600 rows in the history table.
Ugh.
And it took close to 10 minutes to export everything. Anyways, so the update from Ex Libris is that they're going to be introducing a way to basically turn that off.
Good.
But it's not going to happen until September, possibly December. Give me a second and I'll I'll find their reply to my ticket and I'll post that in the chat.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm happy I asked because I was looking through all of those accounts. I think we have like 13,000 accounts. And I'm like, I mean, I do have a couple of work study students, but I could maybe ask them to slowly delete those notes, but it just
Well,
doesn't seem like a cool
Kirsty-
task.
Kirsty, are you talking about notes or attachments? It sounds like you were talking more about attachments, weren't you? Or was it also the notes? Because they're two
No,
different things.
It's the patron notes that say it's profile. What we're like,
Those ones that were from May 5th and 6th?
yeah,
Okay.
where now everybody has a note that says patron profile number, blah, blah, blah. And then every single day, every single patron record is being updated to remove that patron note and add that patron note back, and remove all your patron roles and add all your patron roles back.
Yeah. Okay. So they're related.
But Linda, you're talking about attachments?
No, I'm definitely talking about the user note that popped
Okay.
up on May 5th with the profile thing.
I think I misspoke. I was not attachments. It's the history, right? The history is getting clogged up because of the
Yes.
notes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't mean attachments.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
looking for that email.
okay. Cara Beth, so last week I did make it out to Grays Harbor and had a wonderful time with Haley and Cara Beth. And then the next day I tried to get to Pierce and yet another semi wrecked my day. Traffic was terrible. But Cara Beth, I feel like we talked about, yeah, okay. Now I'm remembering, I'm like replaying electronic resources. Okay, thanks, Kirsty. September 2023 release for the opt-out from adding the note with user profile information. So hopefully that will happen. So Cara Beth and I were kind of talking about e-resources, and I know that this was a discussion during LLC 2 weeks ago, but if your library gets your budget back and you are looking at canceling e-resources, I would love to figure out a way to share those, not on the listserv, because I mean, that shouldn't be, public record type stuff. But if you even just wanted to email it directly to me, because if we have 6 or 8 or 10 schools who are all looking at canceling, like a set of the same resources, that is where the consortium could come in. I could negotiate perhaps a better price. I could, we've been talking about using some of the contingency funds that have grown over the last 8 years to help with that kind of group shared purchase. Nothing has been formally discussed, but the more that I know about what your needs are right now, the better I can work to, maybe fill some of those gaps. I'd hate to propose, a cool new idea like LibKey, and meanwhile, half of you are having to cancel something else. So, I can work on both things at the same time. One of the things that Cara Beth and I talked about was Avon, the academic video online from ProQuest that's on the Alexander Street platform. It is much less expensive, generally speaking, especially if we negotiate it at the consortium level, than films on demand. And when I've done title usage analysis between those two platforms, what I found time and again was like 75% of the top 20 films watched on Films on Demand were available on academic video online as well. It's just that faculty was more familiar with Films on Demand or something. So I don't think very many of you have Avon because it wasn't part of the state ProQuest package back in the day with the state library. But if a lot of you have Films on Demand and you're looking at that and saying that's a very pricey package, we can certainly walk through pulling the title by title usage and looking at the Avon titles and see if making that switch would make sense. And I can talk to our ProQuest people, and that might be a great shared resource effort. Because if you could save some money switching, yeah. And the other thing is somehow everyone who sells the academic streaming packages wants to conflate the high use of streaming video packages in general with like, oh yeah, colleges use so many streaming videos, but some programs just don't. Some faculty never adopted them. So Avon is still, they have Canvas LTI integration, and they also, all of them are licensed for public performance because Sodexo on campus wanted to show videos. So I had to look it up because they were like, well, can't I just like blast this on the wall in the cafeteria? No, because I walked in one time and they were doing that. I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, yeah, Avon has come a long way from like 10 years ago. Films on Demand, I don't know what their contract says about renewal and payment stuff. So, but I can certainly look into it. And the thing about Canopy and Swank is that you have that option to purchase additional titles. Avon has additional collections that you can add on, but it doesn't have the title by title acquisition thing. But I think it would be, a good potential exploration for a shared content product. So, but yeah, let me know if you're looking at canceling something, and I can, see if there are a few institutions that I could negotiate more of a competitive contract on. And I know it was Wade did do periodic like exports of what collections were active in Alma for everybody in the for electronic collections, but I know that that's not always the most accurate reflection of your content. So and it hasn't been updated since, I think the most recent one I found was 2019. So, and there wasn't, vendor wise, of course, there's always overlap. Everybody has something from EBSCO, but individual product wise at the time, there was, the way he pulled it and organized it, I was just like, I can't figure out how, like what's the most common subscribed to package. Yes, so JSTOR is removing their free COVID extended access collection. And their new pricing tier for academic institutions, including community colleges, will begin on January 1st. So our sales guy, whose name I'm blanking on, Greg Bodkin, wasn't super clear on like the community zone collections and what we needed to activate and what we should deactivate. So I'm trying to follow up with him. I sent him an email a couple of weeks ago. And anyone who has like a January 1st renewal for any JSTOR product. So if you have Arts and Sciences 1, 2, and 5, but nothing else, you should be getting information that says, hey, the pricing model has changed. You will now be charged this flat rate, and it's going to include all of the archival collections, which is Arts and Sciences like 1 through 13. They're on a page and I can find it because I've definitely, but here's the thing. Yeah. So the January 1, if you have JSTOR all, like anything you're subscribing to, you'll end up changing. Thank you, whoever just posted that, Kirsty. So it's the 15 Arts and Sciences, the extra business, because business 1 through 4 are actually just subsets of Arts and Sciences, the life science, the public health, the 3 thematic, and the 4 primary source collections. So between July 1 and January 1, if you are a current subscriber, I think we just need to make sure that we talk to them and say, hey, like, we need to make sure we have access. Because I think Greg basically was like, yeah, we'll just trial access you those collections for 6 months until they become part of your subscription. But like I said, I reached out a few weeks ago, haven't heard back. So I will follow up, because if people are starting to get invoices, then I definitely want to make sure that we know what needs to be correctly activated. And yeah, because I was trying to be like, hey, can we talk about what it would look like for WAC to click to provide access through one server, and he did not get back to me. So anyway, sorry, let me turn off the baby monitor. So yeah, I will definitely follow up with JSTOR for more of that like technical support collection side of it. Because I feel like if you're gonna put a do like a new tier pricing, then you should definitely be open to new subscriber negotiations. Okay, tangential side note from Kirsty. When you cancel, add a note to the POL before we close the POL saying who made the decision to cancel and roughly when. Really helpful figuring out subscription history years after the fact. Oh yeah, true story. Those kind of details need to be like written down somewhere. and yeah, so great way to use the notes on the POL listing. Okay, so I got a couple things to investigate content wise. And yeah, please let me know if there's anything in the August release that you would like more information about. Yes, the recording gets saved. The chat gets saved with the recording, and I add it to the meeting notes. I have been delinquent in getting them posted to the website, but I swear I'm going to focus. I keep thinking every week this summer is going to eventually go back to normal, but that's just not the case when the kids are not in school. So I will make sure in this next week that I get that meetings page and our notes page all updated, and I'll share out on the listserv when I've got all of that updated and ready to go, because I want to see. Karabeth, you're lucky that you even have a normal setting on your dryer. I don't think I do anymore. They're so ridiculously complicated. Yeah, my husband's like, I just want to push one button. I'm like, that's just not possible, sir. And you're the one that picked these out. So, yeah, I've got a lot of the recordings actually already loaded into YouTube. I just haven't gotten them like formatted and then published and then put the links onto the meeting page on the website. I really wish there was a more automated way, and I'm sure there is, but embed the YouTube channel, maybe. I'm gonna look into it now, because there's got to be an easier way. So thank you so much all, especially for entertaining my little Taylor Swift relive at the beginning. And I will be getting back to you if you've emailed me in the last week, and I will be investigating JSTOR collections and getting some information about Avon. But let me know if there's anything else. Otherwise, Primo customization or normals, or we'll see you next Tuesday. It's what, the 1st, August 1st, next Tuesday. So have a great week. Stay cool. West Siders, enjoy that post-rain clearing out. And we'll see you later.